I came to Israel the year of the Six-Day War, and the country was in a state of absolute euphoria. It was an incredible time, and I stayed. I never left. I met my husband. I had 7 sons. I've been living in Jerusalem for 32 years. My 2 oldest sons, they all went to yeshiva high schools and later to the army in the Golani Brigade. The third was Nachshon. He volunteered for an elite commando unit of Golani, which had these big, strapping, strong soldiers, and his brothers laughed at him because he was the slightest and the smallest and the thinnest of all these big, strapping guys. Nachshon spent 8 months in Lebanon. His sergeant, his best friend, was shot right beside him in Lebanon. Nachshon was on leave when he came back. He got a phone call Saturday night telling him that he and another friend had been chosen to do a special one-day course for which they would receive a license to operate some vehicle that was very prestigious. And Nachshon left, and Nachshon never came back. On Tuesday, Israeli television called us that they had received a video from a Hamas person, and that tape is very famous. You must have seen it. Nachshon is sitting in a chair, bound hand and foot, with a terrorist standing behind him, the keffiyeh wound around his face, aiming a weapon at his head and prodding him to speak. And Nachshon then pleaded for his life, and he said, I'm being held hostage by Hamas. They want Rabin to release Sheikh Yassin, their spiritual leader, and 200 other prisoners being held in Israeli prisons. If Rabin does not agree to this, they will execute me on Friday night. We were mobilized 24 hours around the clock to do everything in our power to help our son, to get him freed. We called all world leaders. On Friday, the entire press came into the house. I lit the candles. We asked, by the chief rabbi's request, he had asked everybody in the world to please say 3 chapters of Tehillim, of Psalms, for our son. Here at the Kotel, there were over 100,000 people, Hasidim in peot and black garb, with their arms around kids in torn jeans and an earring and a ponytail. Everyone sobbing, everyone together, everyone praying for this one precious Jewish soul. There was amazing unity and solidarity, which also gave us strength to cope with the news we got Friday night. Israel intelligence had located the house where Nachshon was being held. The military action went through. Nachshon was killed. We spent all of Shabbat with this, knowing we were going to bury our son Saturday night. All of the reporters, without exception, asked the question of, are you sorry you came? Now, seeing what happened to your son. And I'll tell you, as I told them, absolutely not. This is the only place that I would have ever wanted to bring up my children. My son died wearing his country's uniform. His life and death had meaning, and he won't be forgotten. For 2,000 years, we've recited prayers of next year in Jerusalem, of return to Zion, of rebuild Jerusalem. I don't feel the same way about the Hudson River. I just don't. And so it's just a feeling of belonging. And even though I wasn't born here and did have a different culture and all, I still feel culturally, religiously, ideologically, linguistically, in every way bound to this place.